Allahu Akbar.
There's no tangible Muslim middle class worldwide.
Extremism takes many forms.
If I come and I slap you in the face, that gives you no right to go slap someone else in the face. We keep using these, disjointed rationalizations, for anything around the world. Well, we're attacking Iraq because they have weapons of mass destruction. Well, no, they really didn't. The idiots who, flew their planes into the World Trade Center saying, oh, we're doing this, in the name of Islam. Well, no, you're not. You're just committing acts of mass murder. And let's call a spade a spade. It is a religious, spiritual, and moral obligation for us Muslims to self-reflect and speak out against injustice wherever it occurs. And most importantly, we must clean our own house first before we can expect others to have any sort of sympathy for our causes. We've also lost credibility with the rest of the world because of our selective outrage. And the reason that I call it selective moral outrage is because we see protests and riots going on during the Danish cartoon controversy, but we don't see those same sorts of vocal protests. We do not see that same moral outrage when we see our Sunni and Shia brothers and sisters being slaughtered every single day, when we look at political assassinations in Pakistan, when we look at the fact that out of 57 majority Muslim nations on earth, only 1 in 4 of our nations are democratically elected. And so there has become a socio-political vacuum, which of course leads to my third point, that we as a Muslim ummah, as a Muslim community, seem to not be able to differentiate between something that is a political grievance and a religious justification. The real difference between those who condone terrorist acts and all others is about politics and not piety. Two wrongs do not make a right. Islam does not teach us that. If you want to sit in the chair and actually have someone challenge you on your rhetoric, instead of just popping out audio cassettes and video cassettes every once in a while from some cave somewhere, then let's have that debate, because I assure you at the end of the day, 99% of Muslims are going to agree with the Muslim pacifist and not the extremist like yourself.
Me?
Not you, but you know what I'm talking about.
I have nothing to do with it.
I know.
Okay, let's talk about Doha debates for a while, because I think that was an awesome debate. You got an ovation, by the way.
I did.
That showed in a way that a lot of the Muslims in that debate, the audience, they agreed with you.
Not only agreed, but what was most amazing was that you could tell that most people, when they started giving the ovation, they wanted to hear a Muslim say that.
Yeah.
They wanted to agree. They wanted to say, yes, this is what I believe.
They wanted to raise these questions.
Exactly. And the first question that I get, and it's a question that I think all of you should think about, is that what about the virulently anti-Semitic cartoons that regularly appear in Muslim newspapers around the world? So if we are going to condemn racism, we should not only condemn Islamophobia, we have to condemn racism in all of its forms, especially within our own Muslim ummah, whether saying that Arabs are better than non-Arabs. We have to be consistent in our message, because otherwise to the rest of the world, we're just seen as duplicitous Muslims who only cry foul when something goes wrong with us and not when our people do something wrong.
All right, Moiz Masood.
When you're saying things that are challenging status quos, whether it's the American status quo here or the quote-unquote Muslim status quo worldwide, when you're challenging these things, it takes a deal of courage and audacity and bravery.
But as a part of this larger humanity, aren't we supposed to help each other no matter what our differences may be?
There's a very well-known hadith tradition of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, help your brother whether he is an oppressor or the oppressed. But we only focused on the oppressed, and we tend as Muslims to take more of a blind eye when our own people are committing acts and doing acts supposedly in the name of Islam, and we're not standing up loudly enough and saying with as strong a voice as them that this will not be done in our name.
So what are we supposed to do if a fellow human being is either being attacked or being brainwashed with negativity?
And what you're saying is that if a Muslim is sitting in a mosque and he hears a sermon
Yeah.
that's attacking people of other faiths,
Right.
they need to stand up and object to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All around the Middle East and the Islamic world, the governments and societies are in shambles. Instead of spending your times, giving fiery rhetorical sermons about this and that, we need to worry about how to feed our children, how to ensure that there are education systems, healthcare systems, that there are institutions in place that are going to help people feed and take care of their families. At the end of the day, people will turn back to their faith as part of their spiritual solace, their inner spiritual solace. But as Muslim nations, as Muslim societies, we need to ensure that no child on earth, whether they're white, black, purple, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Muslim, doesn't matter. We need to make sure that every baby on earth does not go hungry in the world. There are 14 million refugees on the face of the earth today. Most people don't know that over 2/3 of refugees on earth are Muslims. And
at the same time, we have one of the richest countries in the world who are Muslims.
Right, and so you see the rich-poor disparity is so vast that there's no tangible Muslim middle class worldwide. Now it's starting to grow, but until you have that tangible Muslim middle class of the doctors, the engineers, the accountants, the journalists, the professors, the tangible middle class, the perfect example is what we saw last year in Pakistan. For the first time ever in Pakistan's 60-year history, we saw the judges and the lawyers of Pakistan take to the streets. We had the intelligentsia, the most educated, the economically empowered people saying, we will not let this happen. If we leave our politics to dime store imams in some backwards villages, then we're in really big trouble. Because you have the elite, the rich, the corrupt that are only going to look out for themselves, and then you're going to have, the common grassroots people in cities, localities, and villages saying something completely different. And we need to ensure that there is a seamless transition between all classes of society, between all religions in society, all races within society, all ethnic backgrounds, so that every single human being, every single person without exception, is given the same opportunities as everyone else.
For Muslims America, I'm Imran Siddiqui.